Palestinian death toll from ongoing Israeli operation rises past 44,000. Biden slams Russian overnight attack on Ukraine. Good afternoon and Salam Malaysia Madani. Thanks for tuning in. I'm SAHIH and you're watching World Today. Gaza-based health authorities said in a statement on Thursday that the Palestinian death toll from the ongoing Israeli military operations in the Gaza Strip has risen to 44,330 victims. The statement also mentioned in the past 24 hours, Israeli military operations in Gaza killed 48 people and wounded 53 others, bringing the total number of injuries to 104,933. On Thursday, the Israeli troops intensified its attacks on the central area of the Gaza Strip and sent tanks deep into the northern and southern Gaza. Al-Auda Hospital in central Gaza reported receiving 16 bodies and 55 injured individuals since the start of the heavy air and artillery strikes in the Nuseirat area. The hospital accused Israeli forces of directly targeting ambulance workers. According to the Palestine News and Information Agency, Wafa, the Israeli military forces also attacked a camp for the displaced people near Khan Yunis in southern Gaza, killing 4 people, including a child, and injuring many others. United States President Joe Biden said that Russia's overnight aerial attack against Ukraine is outrageous and serves as a reminder of the urgency and importance of supporting the Ukrainian people. In a statement released by the White House, Biden said, Russia continues to underestimate the bravery, resilience and determination of the Ukrainian people. He added, the United States stands with more than 50 countries in support of Ukraine and its fight for freedom. Russia unleashed on Thursday its second big attack on Ukraine's energy infrastructure this month, triggering deep power cut across the country. President Vladimir Putin said on Thursday that Russia would use all weapons at its disposal against Ukraine if Kiev were to acquire nuclear arms. The New York Times reported last week that some unidentified Western officials had suggested US President Joe Biden could give Ukraine nuclear weapons before he leaves office.
Страна, с которой мы, по сути, сейчас ведем боевые действия, становится ядерной державой. Что нам делать? В этом случае мы будем принимать и использовать все, я хочу это подчеркнуть, именно все имеющиеся в распоряжении России средства поражения. Все.
Putin also said it was practically impossible for Ukraine to produce a nuclear weapon, but that it might be able to make some kind of dirty bomb, a conventional bomb laced with radioactive material in order to spread contamination. Russia reminded without providing evidence that Ukraine might use such a device. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has repeatedly complained that the move left his country without security, citing this as a reason it should be admitted to NATO, something Moscow strongly opposes. Mexico's President Claudia Sheinbaum said on Thursday she did not specifically discuss tariffs in a call with US President-elect Donald Trump a day earlier after Trump threatened a 25% import tax that appears to contravene a free trade pact. Sheinbaum told a morning press conference the two discussed the causes for which Trump had threatened tariffs, namely illegal migration and fentanyl trafficking, and that in time they would discuss the flow of US guns to Mexican criminal organizations. Following the call, Trump said Sheinbaum had agreed to stop migration through Mexico and into the United States. Sheinbaum, however, said she had laid out a strategy that attended to migrants before they reached the US border. Sheinbaum added that she asked Trump to end blockades against Cuba and Venezuela on call because they make people suffer and were a reason for migration. Mexico and the United States are each other's top trade partners. The Mexican peso strengthened about 1% against the US dollar on Thursday. French Prime Minister Michel Barnier on Thursday scrapped plans to raise electricity taxes in his 2025 budget, reacting to far-right threats to bring the government down in a no-confidence vote unless he eased the burden on the working classes. Widespread opposition to the budget plans on the left and far right have left President Emmanuel Macron's Prime Minister and government facing a lose-lose situation to moderate the budget's fiscal ambitions and threaten France's financial stability or face a perilous no-confidence vote. Earlier, Finance Minister Antoine Armand said the government was ready to make measured concessions, warning that failure to pass the budget could lead to a storm in financial markets. Barnier's minority government could fall as early as next week, when it will likely be forced to use a special constitutional power known as Article 49.3 to push the social security budget through without a parliamentary vote due to lack of support. Such an aggressive move would likely lead to a no-confidence motion. The same may happen when the deadline approaches for the broader budget in mid-December. The United Kingdom says it has signed a security pact with Iraq to target people smuggling gangs and strengthen border cooperation, the latest in its efforts to crack down on irregular migration. Its Interior Minister Yvette Cooper signed the pact on Thursday, aimed at targeting people smuggling gangs and enhancing border cooperation. Cooper emphasized that smuggling gangs are profiting from perilous small boat crossings, with their operations stretching from northern France and Germany across Europe to the Kurdistan region of Iraq and beyond. During her visit to Iraq and the Kurdistan region, Cooper, along with a British delegation, toured the Iraqi Border Force Command, visited the 911 call center, and attended a police cadet college ceremony. Additionally, Cooper met with Nichivan Barzani, president of the Kurdistan region. According to the statement, the UK also pledged to provide up to $380,000 for Iraqi law enforcement training in border security. It will be focused on countering organised immigration crime and narcotics and increasing the capacity and capability of Iraq's border enforcement. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said social media platforms now have a social responsibility to ensure the safety of children after the country's parliament passed a bill banning those under the age of 16 from using the services on Thursday. Australia approved a social media ban for children aged under 16 after an emotive debate that has gripped the nation, setting a benchmark for jurisdictions around the world with one of the toughest regulations targeting big tech.
World-leading action to make sure social media companies meet their social responsibility. Social media is doing harm to our children. And today, as a direct result of our legislation passed through the Parliament yesterday, through the Senate and confirmed in the House today, parents can have a different discussion with their young ones, a different discussion that will result in better outcomes and less harm for young Australians. Platforms now have a social responsibility to ensure the safety of our kids is a priority for them.
The law forces tech giants from Instagram and Facebook owner Meta to ByteDance's own TikTok to stop minors from logging in or face fines of up to 49.5 million Australian dollars, equivalent to 32 million US dollars. A trial on enforcement matters will start in January, with the ban to take effect in a year. Flooding triggered by 3 days of heavy rain has killed one person and displaced thousands in southern Thailand, with more days of rain forecast. The head of the local Department of Disaster Prevention and Mitigation, Wasan Chatya Wisong, said the floods killed one student in Narathiwat province and have displaced more than 2,700 people. Prolonged rain has also forced the suspension of 65 local schools. According to the Thai Meteorological Department, a heavy rain warning remains in effect, with continuous rain forecasts across 70% of the province until early December. More than 500 soldiers and volunteers have been deployed to distribute relief kits and assist in evacuating residents to safer areas. A team has been set up to accelerate water drainage in affected areas. Heavy snowfall covered South Korea for the second consecutive day on Thursday, leading to a total of 3 deaths and causing significant disruptions to flights and ferry services. Authorities said the snow caused 3 fatalities in Gyeonggi province around the capital Seoul, including 1 person killed when a tent-style garage collapsed during snow removal. Another died when a golf practice net gave way amid the extreme weather. The prolonged snowfall led to the cancellation of 156 flights and disrupted 104 ferry services across 79 routes. According to the country's weather agency, the second day of snow came after Seoul on Wednesday recorded its heaviest November snowfall since records began over a century ago. The record snowfall also marked the capital's first snow of the season. Authorities reported 131 temporary power outages, with 46 restored by the end of Wednesday. UK migration hits record high in 2023. That and more coming up next. Net migration to Britain soared far above original estimates in 2023 to a record 900,000, although tougher visa rules have started to reduce the number of arrivals based on official data from the Office for National Statistics (ONS) on Thursday. Voters in the United Kingdom, whose overall population is around 68 million, have expressed concern that a large number of arrivals could worsen housing shortages and put further strain on public services. However, employers in sectors such as healthcare insist they cannot function without foreign workers. The ONS said numbers did fall 20% from the record high to 728,000 for the year to June 2024, driven by declining numbers of dependents coming with those on study visas after the rules were changed. However, Britain's Reform Party leader Nigel Farage described the figure as horrendous. High levels of legal migration in 2016 was one of the driving forces behind Britain's vote to leave the European Union. In the year to end June 2016, the last 12-month period before the Brexit vote, net migration stood at 321,000. Sri Lanka President Anura Kumar Dissanayake announced a breakthrough in the talks with the International Monetary Fund (IMF) on Thursday, saying that the nation can expect a staff-level agreement to be made on its third review of the country's bailout program as early as today. Once the IMF Executive Board approval is given, a further tranche of about $337 million in funds is expected to be released to Sri Lanka. Of the coalition's 5-year term in March to go to the polls, but has been paving the way for an earlier election, announcing 10.5. Dissanayake also aligned plans to complete a $12.5 billion debt restructuring with bondholders in December. He said there are plans for Sri Lanka to enter into individual agreements with bilateral creditors, including Japan, China and India, needed to complete a $10 billion debt restructuring. Dissanayake, Marxist-leaning National People's Power (NPP) coalition won a record of 159 seats in the 225-member parliament in a general election last week. However, time is of the essence. Dissanayake will have to present an interim budget in the next few weeks, as well as find ways to reduce taxes and increase welfare, which were his key election pledges, without derailing the IMF program. Ireland will hold a general election today as Prime Minister Simon Harris' centre-right coalition bids to capitalise on a popular budget and a dramatic slide in support for opposition left-wing nationalist Sinn Féin. Harris had until the end of the coalition's 5-year term in March to go to the polls, but has been paving the way for an earlier election, announcing €10.5 billion in tax cuts and spending increases in last month's budget. The package takes advantage of Europe's healthiest public finances, just as US President-elect Donald Trump plans to slash US corporate taxes and impose tariffs, threaten Ireland's low-tax economic model, which relies on huge US investment. Sinn Féin's ambition to prevent an unprecedented fourth successive term for final Gail looked probable a year ago, but the opposition party's support has collapsed over the last year and been further hit by a string of internal controversies. An average of the most recent polls put fine Gail on 24.5%, its main coalition partners Fianna Fáil on 21.5% and Sinn Féin on 18.5%, according to the Irish polling indicator. Sinn Féin was polling at 35% as recently as a year ago. Venezuela's National Assembly on Thursday unanimously voted to approve a law which could lead to bans on holding public office of up to 60 years for those who express support for the imposition of the sanctions on the South American country. The so-called Simon Bolivar Liberator Law also includes measures to prosecute people in absentia and represents the latest move by President Nicolas Maduro's government to tighten regulations on everything from non-governmental organizations to social media, following July's contested presidential election. The vote by the ruling party-dominated legislature follows the approval earlier this month by the US House of Representatives of the so-called Bolivar Law, which would prohibit US government bodies from hiring people who have business dealings with Maduro's government. The Bolivar Law, which needs final approval from the US Senate, has been labelled trash by Maduro. Temporary bans on holding office levied on opposition politicians over their support for sanctions on Maduro's government and other accusations are regular occurrences in Venezuela. The opposition, a number of Western countries and some international organizations have decried the election as non-transparent and have called for the full publication of ballots. Peru's government has extended a 2-month-old state of emergency in several parts of the capital Lima over a wave of racketeering by criminal gangs who have killed several people this year. The government extended the emergency measures put in place on 26 September, including the deployment of troops in 14 Lima districts for another 45 days. Interior Minister Juan Jose Santivanes told the measures were producing positive results in the fight against racketeering by criminal gangs. The groups threatened bus drivers, shopkeepers, hairdressers and school teachers with death if they do not pay protection money. Transport companies have staged 4 strikes since September over the murders of 5 bus drivers blamed on the racketeering pandemic. Between January and September, the police received 14,220 complaints for extortion, but the problem is believed to be more prevalent as many victims fail to report cases out of fear. The Ugandan Prime Minister's office and police said on Thursday 15 people died and at least 100 more are missing after a landslide triggered by heavy rains buried dozens of homes across several villages in the eastern region. The landslide occurred on Wednesday in Bulambuli district, about 300 kilometers east of the capital Kampala. The Uganda Red Cross Society said in a statement at least 40 households were completely buried, while others were partially damaged. Police stated that 113 people were missing and that impassable roads were preventing vehicles, including ambulances, from conducting rescue operations. According to the Uganda National Roads Authority and police, on Tuesday, torrential rain caused the River Nile, the main branch of which runs through Uganda, to burst its bank and flood a highway connecting Kampala to the country's northwest. Uganda has been hit by unusually heavy rainfall since October that has triggered widespread flooding and landslides in some areas. Large swathes on the slopes of Ugandan mountains have been denuded of their forests and other vegetation cover for cultivable land, increasing the risk of landslides. A power cut plunged Zimbabwe's parliament into darkness as Finance Minister Mithuli Ncube was finishing his budget speech. The lights flickered and died, leaving top officials like President Emmerson Mnangagwa, Vice President Constantino Chiwenga and members of parliament sitting in the dark. The outage is a symptom of Zimbabwe's ongoing crisis, with daily 12-hour blackouts driven by a prolonged drought that is crippling energy generations at the Kariba Dam, the country's main power source. As the lights went out, opposition MPs shouted that the outage was an apt metaphor for the country's state of affairs. A spokesperson from Zimbabwe Electricity Supply Authority told local media that the blackout had not been planned. He added the blackout happened due to lightning strike. Before the interruption, Incube projected a 15% contraction in the agricultural sector this year due to drought, but forecast 6% economic growth in 2024, citing expectations of above-average rainfall that could also boost power generation. Hundreds of students and academics at Sana'a University in the Yemeni capital organized a large rally on campus on Wednesday to show solidarity with Palestinians and Lebanese who have endured an Israeli military campaign since last October. Held ahead of the International Day of Solidarity with Palestine, which falls on Friday, the demonstration showed the support of students and academics for the struggle of the Palestinian people and the residents of Gaza. Demonstrators also expressed solidarity with the Lebanese people, who they said have faced crimes and acts of genocide by the Israeli army. The demonstrators said the international community, led by the United States, is responsible for what is happening in Palestine and Lebanon. They said it is their duty to pressure Israel to agree to a ceasefire in Gaza as it has in Lebanon. There were also public calls to continue global pressure on Israel through widespread activities and events around the world. Although the ceasefire agreement in Lebanon has come into effect, the protesters said the United Nations and international organizations remain responsible for the genocide and systematic starvation in Gaza caused by the Israeli army. Georgia's ruling party announced on Thursday that the country would suspend talks on European Union sessions until 2028, while also refusing budgetary grants from Brussels, effectively halting its application to join the bloc, a long-standing national goal. In response, thousands of pro-EU protesters blocked streets in the capital, while the country's figurehead president accused the government of declaring war on its own people with the move. Thousands of pro-EU protesters blocked streets in the capital before the altercations began. The country's figurehead president accused the government of declaring war on its own people and confronted riot police, asking whether they serve Georgia or Russia. The Georgian Dream governing bloc accused the EU of a cascade of insults, saying in a statement it was using the prospect of accession talks to blackmail the country and to organize a revolution in the country. Georgia's relations with the EU have deteriorated sharply in recent months as Brussels has alleged that the government had resorted to authoritarian measures and adopted pro-Russian stance. Still to come in sports, Onslaught does not underestimate struggling Man City. We begin with Football AFC Champions League 2. Selangor FC's hopes of securing 3 crucial points to advance to the 2024-2025 round of 16 were dashed as they fell 1-2 to Muangthong United at the Petaling Jaya City Council MBPJ Stadium last night. The loss saw the Red Giants, who were second in the group standings with 7 points before the match, drop to third, overtaken by Muangthong, now a point ahead after 5 matches. Selangor must secure a victory against the Philippines' dynamic hub, Cebu FC, in their final group game on 5th December and hope other results favour them to confirm their knockout stage slot. Earlier, Selangor started strongly on home ground, opening the scoring in the 5th minute through Kwan Tin Cheng. Yohandri Orozco nearly doubled Selangor's lead in the 57th minute, but his low shot in the opponent's penalty box narrowly missed the right post. In the second half, Muangthong came out aggressively, equalising in the 53rd minute through Felicio Brown-Forbes, who capitalised on teammates' header. Selangor were unlucky as 3 of their attempts struck the crossbar. Muangthong, however, seized their opportunity with Parmet Ajvizrai scoring in the 76th minute to secure the victory. On to European football. Liverpool manager Onslaught warned not to write off Sunday's Premier League opponents Manchester City despite their recent struggles. Speaking at a press conference on Thursday, Slot dismissed any notion that Liverpool can expect an easy day when they host the reigning champions at Anfield.
No, Well, I don't think anyone in the last 8 or 9 years, or maybe even longer, would have said that City at home or away. The word easy never comes up to my mind if I think about City.
Guardiola's side poor form of late has been compiled by a burgeoning injury, laced with Mateo Kovacic joining Ballon d'Or winner Rodri on the sidelines. This left a gaping hole in the middle of the squad that has allowed opponents to play through City. The four-time reigning Premier League winners following up a 5-match losing streak, the longest on Pep Guardiola's illustrious managerial resume, with a 3-3 draw at home to Feyenoord in the Champions League on Tuesday, blowing a 3-0 advantage with 15 minutes to go. City porous defence have leaked 17 goals in their last 6 matches, with Tottenham Hotspur putting 4 past them without reply in the last Premier League outing. Women's tennis world number 2 and French Open champion Iga Swiatek has accepted a 1-month suspension after testing positive for banned substance trimetazidine (TMZ). The International Tennis Integrity Agency said on Thursday that Swiatek tested positive in and out of competition sample in August, but the ETA accepted that it was caused by contamination of her medication melatonin, which was manufactured and sold in Poland. Swiatek had been taking it for jet lag and sleep issues. As there was no significant fault or negligence, the ETA offered her a 1-month suspension, which she accepted. However, Swiatek also must forfeit prize money from the Cincinnati Open, the tournament directly following the test. Swiatek described the ordeal of testing positive as the worst experience of her life. She said it was the only positive doping test in her career which showed a very low level of a banned substance she claimed to have never heard about before. Swiatek, however, said everything has been carefully explained and she can go back with a clean slate to what she loves most, playing tennis.
Melaksanakan misi, mempertahan maruah, mencipta secara setia perkembangan, takkan jenta dengan asalkan membuat peluang terus tegakkan satu perjuangan, satu suara akan demi rencana hingga dalam memburu takkan keraguan, kekuatan bicara.
That wraps up World Today this time around. In our top story, Palestinian death toll from ongoing Israeli operation rises past 44,000. I'm SAHIH Malaysia Madani. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Thanks for watching.